So good evening, everybody. I hope we're all doing good. So we kick off with session 12. Today we're going to have another daily stand-up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for more people to join us, and then we can do it then. And I want us to look at velocity just a little bit more so that we are sure we understand it. And then we're going to go into groups and create a couple of personas, as well as look at the definition of done. We talked about the definition of ready. We should also look at the definition of done. I really want us to, within this sprint, as we are completing the sprint, to have a comprehensive view, or should I say understanding, of what needs to happen during this 2-week period, okay? How you need to think during this 2-week period. So let's make progress. So a quick recap. Daily stand-up. We do daily stand-up once every 2 weeks. So once we complete this stand-up, we do a 2-weekly sprint. So once we complete this sprint, it means ideally on Monday, we should then, not this Monday, the upper Monday, we should then have our sprint planning in order for us to start our second sprint. Remember, we're going to do two-week sprint, and we are doing 6 sprint as part of our training. So as soon as this one finishes on Friday, we should have a sprint planning session on Monday to continue. So my question to all of you is this. We're going to have a sprint planning on the 17th to kick off our second sprint. Do we still need to do a daily stand-up as well on that same day? I want you to answer in the box. Yes or no? Do we need to do a daily stand-up as well on that Monday? Yes or no? In the chat box, please. Okay, Sylvia said, I don't think so. Felicia said yes. Okay, who else? I only have 2 answers. Do we need to do daily stand-up as well on that same Monday that we do our sprint planning to start a new sprint? Ndudu said yes, yes, I see. Okay. Who else? I need everybody to answer, please. I'm still waiting for Mr. T to answer. Who else? Okay. Everybody is saying yes except Sylvia. Okay. Who else has an answer? We have 8 people here. I should have 8 answers. Okay, I think I have 8 answers actually. No, I still need one more answer. There's one person missing. Who hasn't answered? Okay, I'm the 8th person. That's why 7 people answered. I'm number 8 person here. Okay, so why are you saying yes? Why is everybody saying yes? Sylvia, you are the one saying no, so I'll wait to ask you after they've answered. Can I go with Doddy? Doddy, why did you say yes? Why did you say we have to do a daily stand-up as well? Unmute yourself.
Yes, I just did. The daily stand-up comes at the end of a meeting with the stakeholders.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. At the end of the day. At the end of the day. That's kind of a...
No, the daily stand-up doesn't come at the end of the day, no.
It's actually the first thing in the morning.
The daily stand-up.
Well, it's the 15-minute stand-up, right?
Yes. Yeah,
it's just to find out where we are. So everybody knows if there are any impediments moving forward. So
yeah, you are right about that. You are right about what daily stand-up is. I can see you understand what daily stand-up is. But my question...
I think it's important because of that. Because if you're going to if there are impediments standing in your way and you have a deadline for the end of the week or for the end of that half sprint, if you like, the end of the 5-day run, you have to know what the challenges might be so you can meet your target. That's my understanding.
You haven't looked at this question properly. I said on the morning, we're going to finish this sprint. This sprint we are doing now is going to finish on the 14th, I think, which is a Friday.
Yes.
Saturday 15, Sunday 16, Monday the 17th. now going to start another planning, another sprint planning.
Another sprint, yes.
Okay. And which means we have to do a sprint planning before we can start our sprint. My question now to everybody is, do we still need to do a daily stand-up on that Monday?
Okay, no, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I get it now.
Okay. So for everybody else that said yes, Dottie just corrected everybody. The answer is no. So thank you, Cynthia, for saying you don't think so. There's no for daily stand-up on the day you also, because it's like you are repeating. I mean, you are just starting.
We've clarified, yes. So
You've clarified.
Yes.
There's nothing to talk about at the
exactly
because you're planning now. So
yeah, just
absolutely
planning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it now.
That is absolutely
Thanks
correct.
for that drill.
Good. Okay, so Franca is not here yet. I had a question for her. So Dottie, I have a second question for you. There are two parts to the sprint planning. Describe it briefly. Very briefly.
Sprint planning, that's generally breaking down the stories. Yes? Breaking down and then assigning tasks.
No, I said there are two parts to it. So give me the first part and the second part. What happens in the first part? What happens in the second part?
The first part is when the product owner decides on which of the epics we're going to break down. And then the second part is actually breaking it down
into
tasks, into stories.
No, into tasks.
Yes.
By who?
By the team members.
Very good. Very good.
It's a team effort. Yes.
It's a team effort. Fantastic. So the sprint planning is in two parts. The first part is where the product owner is communicating what he or she wants us to do, and we are breaking them down also continuously, and we are sizing it as well. This is where we are sizing the stories. And then the second part is where the product owner does not necessarily have to be available,
have to be present,
but must be reachable.
Yes.
But must be reachable, because when the development team now go away to continue the second part of the planning, in order for them to really break things down into tasks. Okay, they may have new questions may emerge. And when new questions emerge and they need clarity, then the product owner must be available. Okay. All right. Good. And this is why we tend to say that organizations that have part-time product owner can create problems with the development team. Okay. But although it might be workable for them, but they really need to then think of better ways to work together if the product owner is part-time. But it's always better to have a full-time product owner, not a proxy product owner. Okay, cool.
But sorry, Mary.
Yes.
I remember you also said that at the second stage, it involves the development team, not necessarily only the development team. The Scrum Master may be available to
the Scrum Master can be there. Yeah, the Scrum Master might be there to help them.
It's not necessary for the
it's mainly the development team. It is mainly the development team, but it's not impossible that they may need the Scrum Master if especially if it's a technical Scrum Master. You see what I mean?
And
again, even if the Scrum Master is not there, the Scrum Master too needs to be reachable. They may need him also or her. Okay, but we are talking about the development team here, saying how do we want to do this work. So it is mainly the development team that owns the second part of that sprint planning. The first part is the Scrum team. So when we say Scrum team, we are talking about Scrum Master, development, and product.
Yes.
When we say development team, we are talking about the core development team that will build the product. Okay. Is Grace here already? Grace, let me see. Is she here? Grace, if you're here, you might as well take your question. I don't think she is yet. I can't see her yet. Okay, she's not here yet. Is Donald here?
Yes, Mary, I'm here.
Okay. Hello, Donald. How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. So, Donald, very briefly, tell us, what is a sprint?
That's a good one. Right there. Right. Well, when we broken the epic down to stories down to tasks, then we're moving to sprint.
Yes, I know. We move into sprint. What is a sprint?
Well, a sprint is basically obviously where we start the actual work. It could be on a 2 weekly basis, and then we start moving things forward.
Yeah, but if you were to describe it for me in a very short sentence, what would you call that? What is a sprint in agile terms?
Well, a sprint should be a moment where we deliver an aspect.
That's what we're going to do. But if I said, what is a sprint? As in, I don't want you to tell me what happens in a sprint. I want you to tell me what a sprint is.
Well, I'm doing 100 meters. I'm on the line. I'm only joking. But basically, after breaking things down to tasks, obviously it's about moving the task from there into a
You are
product.
still telling me what is happening in a sprint. That's not my question. You're telling me what is happening in a sprint. I said, what is a sprint? So a sprint is a time box period. That's what it is. It's a time box. That's it. It's a period, isn't it? It's a time. It's a time box.
Right. But I mentioned 2 weeks though, Mary.
Yeah, but I know it's 2 weeks. I didn't say how long is a sprint. That would have been my question.
Okay. All right. I misunderstood your question.
Okay.
I do apologize for that.
Okay.
But basically,
so
yes. Okay.
A sprint is a time box, because don't forget that when you say 2 weeks, my sprint can be 4 weeks. My time box can be 4 weeks. My time box can be 3 weeks. Because remember, it can be 1 to 4 weeks. So
that's right.
Exactly. So a sprint is actually a time box, a period during which, an MVP, an incremental product is delivered.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Shola, that's my pleasure. Shola, you're here. Can you please tell us what is backlog? I can't even see my own screen now. What is backlog? Why is backlog refinement important, Shola?
Okay, yeah, I think the backlog refinement often occurs after, the end of a sprint. Just like a recap.
No, not the end. No. It doesn't happen at the end of the sprint.
Or before the tasks are delivered in a sprint. Just to be sure that, they've got all the, they've captured all the requirements before they move on to the next sprint.
Well, you are almost there. Your last answer was better than your first.
Okay.
A backlog refinement is important because it means we refine the backlog before the next sprint. Okay? We refine the backlog before the next sprint. So take, for example, we started our sprint 1 week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow or Tuesday, we could then say, let us refine our backlog. Okay? So which is sort of like halfway or just a little more than halfway through the sprint. But we are not yet at the end of the sprint. Are you with me?
All right.
We are not yet we still have maybe 3 days to go or 4 days to go before our sprint ends. Our sprint is going to end on Friday, okay? Friday the 14th, because we are running a 2-week sprint. Now, the reason the backlog refinement is important, and I really want you to get this, everybody, because it's a typical interview question. The reason the backlog refinement is important is that when we now start our sprint planning on Monday, remember, this sprint will end on Friday. Another sprint will start on Monday. What is the first thing we do when we start a sprint? We do sprint planning, right? So because we have done a backlog refinement, it means we are now familiar with a lot of the things that we need to work on in that sprint that we are just starting now, that will be starting on Monday, the 17th. I hope I'm making sense now. So there are no surprises. We are already familiar with the backlog because we had a backlog refinement. What happens during the backlog refinement? We are looking to see if there are more epics to break down into stories. We are looking to make sure that we understand the story. We are looking to make sure that if there are dependencies, we are already thinking of how to manage those dependencies. Okay? And we are also estimating the stories. And because we are having a backlog refinement, we are able to ask questions. Because at the backlog refinement, everybody is there, the Scrum Master, the development team, the product owner. At this point, the developers are asking questions. The testers are asking questions so that they know how to write their test cases, so that they are sure they understand the story and they know how to develop this story. So they are not surprised at all on Monday morning. They are not seeing, they've seen most of the stories already. The stories are not new to them. They are already familiar with the stories. And because they have done a backlog refinement, they will not waste too much time during the sprint planning. They will not waste much time at all. It will be swift. And most of the questions that they want to ask have already been asked during the backlog refinement. However, between the time that the backlog refinement was done and the time you now actually do your sprint planning, it is not impossible that some new emergencies have come up. So even if new emergencies come up, it then means that because you have already spent time tidying up and understanding your backlog, you can now spend your sprint planning time to understand these new emergencies or these new stories that have come in. I hope that makes sense. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so that is it. That's why backlog refinement is important. Now, when you have a team, if you come into an organization as a Scrum Master, and as a Scrum Master, you find that they are not doing backlog refinement, just watch them and see what happens. If they start having problems during the sprint or during the sprint planning, they are taking too long. So take, for example, the sprint planning is 2 hours and they have expended 2 hours and they still haven't been able to work on enough stories in terms of breaking it down, estimating it, understanding it. It is because they have not spent time before that day to at least work on some of the stories in the backlog. So as a Scrum Master, if you then see that is happening, you then ask, did you have a backlog refinement? If they say they didn't have a backlog refinement, you tell them that, well, the problems you are having is probably because you did not do a backlog refinement. So it's up to you guys. Do you want to now start doing a backlog refinement to now see if that helps your current challenges? So these are the things you're looking out for as a Scrum Master.
Maybe a quick question.
Yeah.
A quick question.
Yeah.
I know the Scrum team. I mean, the Scrum team is it's a team that work together, cross-functional and all that. Why the developers are working on developing or writing codes? Can't the Scrum Master and the product owner look, between themselves, take a look at this backlog refinement and do something about it without involving the developers?
So that is always going on. That is always going on. So just because we have those meetings where everybody, will come together doesn't mean on his own. The product owner is constantly working with the backlog. The product owner is constantly working with the stakeholders.
So in other words, there's no need to have everybody involved in backlog refinement.
Of course, you have to be involved in backlog refinement. You need to understand the story you want to build. But that is not to say the day before the product owner was not working on it. That is not to say, for example, I told them Grace to develop the roadmap. We were not all involved. She did it on her own. So just because we have certain meetings that involves everybody does not mean that that product backlog belongs to the product owner. The product backlog belongs to the product owner. So the product owner is constantly working on his backlog, doing whatever he needs to do, because there's always communication going up and down. An epic that was agreed upon, there might be some few changes that they need to do to it. Okay. And he's looking at maybe the full scope of the work. You understand? But he still needs to, because he's not the one that will develop it now. So he may be working on it. A product owner's job is a lot. Product owner and the business analyst, they do a lot of work. So, but at some point, they must now bring everybody together to say, see what we need to do. And they now need to size it, because it's not the product owner that will size it. It is the development team that will size the story. The product owner no matter how much he knows about, he or she knows about the story, the product owner is not a developer. The product owner is not a tester. That is why you now have to bring the people who are going to develop it to now say, okay, how well do we understand this story? What are the things we need to do to help us now understand the full effort that will go into this, the development of this story? Okay, it's like me saying somebody should come and do something for me in my house, maybe like plumbing. So maybe if I have something with if I have a problem with my washing machine, for example, I know that my washing machine is not working. That's why I've called the plumber in or whatever. But it's the plumber that will now come and say, okay, this one, that one, that one. But I call the plumber, but I don't know the full problem that the plumber might uncover. Do you see what I mean? So the product owner knows what he wants, he or she wants. They want to develop this feature, wants to develop that feature, but does not know the full effort that will go into that. And that is where the user experience, developers, user interface, and testers, and then the database people. Okay, you want people to do login. For you, it's just a box to log in, but there's so much going on behind in terms of database, in terms of GDPR compliance and all of that. Okay? Does that make it clearer for you?
Yes, it does. Okay. It does. Really.
Okay. Okay, so we will do the daily stand-up if we are complete. Let me see who is not here yet. I know Franca is going to be late. Grace is not here. Very unlike her, but I hope she's all right. Okay, so we'll do the daily stand-up when they get back here. Poker planning, I was hoping we could do the poker planning with an online tool. Somebody was going to send me the link for an online tool, but she hasn't done so. So maybe we'll do it next weekend. So let's talk about velocity. I actually want us to use the online tool because these are, this remote working means that, these are the sort of tools we need to really get used to now. So I wanted us to actually have a feel of it and use it. Now, talking about velocity, let me go to our project. First of all, let me just talk about it here. Now, when we say velocity, it is the rate at which we are making progress, okay? And it is the accumulation of, is the sum of all the story points. If you remember, we size our stories, 3, 2, 1. Now, by the time we finish our sprint, okay, if we committed, say, to 40 and we delivered 30, then it means for this sprint, our velocity was 30 because that is what we delivered if we add up all the story points of the stories that we were able to complete. Then that will be our velocity. It is usually difficult to know what your velocity is until you have had at least 3 or 4 sprints, okay? You cannot just say, we've done 1 sprint. So for example, now if at the end of this sprint, our velocity is 30, we are able to deliver 35. It's not yet our velocity, though I'm using the name velocity, but it's really not yet, we are really not sure if that is our velocity until we do like 2, 3, 4 sprints. And then we now look at the trend, okay? We look at the trend. So based on that trend, we're able to then say, you know what, our velocity is about 35 or something like that. Now, why is velocity important? Velocity is not about performance management of people. It's not about micromanaging people. It's not about a manager coming to say, you people, you did 40 last sprint. Why are you doing 30 now or whatever? No, that's not what it is for. The purpose of velocity is to help us to plan. So velocity is a planning tool, okay? It is a planning tool. If we have a velocity, then we are able to project what we can deliver. We are able to plan releases because we have an idea of what we are capable of doing, what we are capable of delivering every 2 weeks, okay? That is the point of velocity. So this velocity is a number that is useful to the team, not to management. Useful to the team, not to management. It is for us as a team to use to plan our work. And you'll soon see what I mean. So take, for example, our first sprint. We committed to 60, but we delivered 54 by the time we ended our sprint. Our second sprint, we committed to 61. We delivered 50. Third, we delivered 58. Fourth sprint, we delivered 55. Now, if we look at the average, it's about 54. So that means by the time we want to do our fifth sprint, moving on to our fifth sprint, when we are doing the sprint planning meeting, we're going to stick to around 54. That means 54 will now be our guide. So when the product owner is saying, okay, this is important to me this sprint, this is important to me this sprint, that is important to me this sprint, we are taking it and we are sizing it, we are doing everything. So by the time we are taking all the stories that we have sized into our sprint backlog, by the time we hit 53, we can stop. By the time we hit 53, we say to Mr. Product Owner, that's enough, our capacity is 54. Except, of course, he has a story that is 1 point. If he has a story that is 1 point, then we will take it and it will be 54. But if we hit 53 and he wants to give us a story that is 5 points, we will say no. We will say no. But if, for example, we are at 52 and the product owner wants to now give us a story that is 3 points, it means it will take us just 1 point slightly above our velocity, which is okay. Because you see, these things are not like cast on stone that, you know, our velocity is 54 and it is exactly 54 we must take. That's not what this is about. This is to guide us. So since we know our velocity is 54, if the product owner gives us, by the time we take the stories the product owner wants us to work with, and we hit 53, that is fine. Except, of course, the product owner wants to add one more story, and that one story will take us to 54 because it is 1 point. Because the story is so small, it is 1 point. But if we hit 52, even if we hit 52, and the other stories are like 8 points or 5 points, we are going to decline. Because we want to make sure that we are not stretching ourselves unnecessarily. And that is the whole point of this velocity, to help us to plan. That's number one. Number two, another reason velocity is important is it helps us plan our capacity. So if 54 means full house, then it means when everybody is complete, assuming we are 10 in the team, when everybody is complete, our velocity is 54. We are able to take that. But imagine if 2 people are sick, then it means we have to reduce that velocity. We have to reduce it, otherwise we will be overcommitting ourselves. We will be overcommitting ourselves as a team, knowing that 2 people are, you know, on break for 2 weeks. So you see, it's a planning tool. It's a number to help us plan. Any questions? Is it clear? Because velocity is very, very important. It's also a typical interview question. And one of the things they want to see when they're asking you this question is they want to see if you are also, as a Scrum Master, using velocity as a micromanaging tool, which it is not. So if any question comes across, velocity is for the development team to plan themselves. Remember, a development team is self-organizing, self-managing. So this is one of the ways that one of the tools that they use to manage themselves, to know what to commit to and not overstretch themselves. Any questions, please?
Okay, Mary, so if you know that you're going to lose 2 members for 2 weeks, for example, and your average is 54, how would you reduce it?
Well, I think I don't think there's any hard and fast rule about that. I always like to give very straight examples. For example, let's say we are 9 people in the team. There are 9 of us, and let us assume that our velocity is 90. So on average, that means one person is doing like 10. That's rough math.
70,
So it means like one person is doing like 10 on average. So we can just say, you know what? Because 2 people are not here this sprint, we're going to commit to about 70. Do you see what I mean? So when we talk about estimating this, it can't be like 100%. But give or take, you know, 2 people are not here. We normally do 90. well, since 2 people are not here, let's go to like 65 or 70, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so let me use this opportunity to ask you this.
Yes.
If we start a sprint, which is development, right? We have testers, it's cross-functioning, so we have testers, we have everybody in there, but everything in there needs to be coded. So those that are coding, the programmers would have to start working before there'll be work available for people testing, people doing all the other bits going on, right? So at the point where the coders are coding and there's nothing available because they've just started coding, what will the other ones be doing?
That's a very good question, Sylvia. Let me mute Tunde. Okay, that's a very good question. You see, in a development team, there's always a lot to do. So when you have so many stories, some people might still need to be writing a use case diagram. Some people might still need to be doing some data flow. The database people might still need to be doing their entity relationship diagram. There's always something to do. That's number one. However, I like the question you just brought up because that takes me to the mini waterfall. When you put a new team together, you will have all the skills that you need to develop your product in that team. Like you just said, developers, testers, and what have you. However, because they are a new team, then there's a high chance that a developer can only develop and a tester can only test. In which case, the developer is, the tester is waiting for the developer to finish developing and pass it on to her or him.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's a high chance that while that is going on, the tester needs to write test cases. So I'm developing, but remember, I was part of the sprint planning. So because I'm part of the sprint planning and I know the acceptance criteria, I'm already working on my test strategy and my test cases. So I'm not just going to sit down and be waiting for the developer. Are you getting my point? There's always something for them to do. That's number one. Number two, you remember I said when you bring a team together, you do what we call market of skills. Do you remember market of skills?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Market of skills is a case of, okay, I know this, I can do this, I can do that. What we are trying to actually achieve with market of skills is to see how we can create a truly, I use the word truly, how we can create a truly cross-functional team. Because in a truly cross-functional team, I can code and I can test. And there's what we call test-driven development. Test-driven development. We are going to come to that. We're going to look at it briefly. Where you write a test before you actually write the code. You write a test before you actually write the code. And for you to be able to do that, it means you are a tester and you are a developer. And that is what is happening today.
Right, I guess I'm a bit oscillated, so I'm just thinking of how we used to do project management.
No, it makes sense. The question you asked totally makes sense. And we still have a bit of that problem today. Where,
interesting.
Yes, where we call it mini waterfall. That is why we call it mini waterfall. Because as much as we are doing a sprint, within that sprint, the developer will develop it and pass it to the tester.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, as a Scrum Master, you are trying to now help them work towards being a truly cross-functional team. Yes. And this is where understanding new technology comes in, understanding new ways of coding and new ways of testing. So there's what you call unit testing now. There's what you call test-driven development, where they are writing small code. So you see the weighting we are talking about is a very small weight because now developers don't write big codes anymore. No, they don't write long codes anymore. They just write a small code and test it. Yeah. Small code, test it. So in a day, we may have written 50 codes and tested those 50 codes in that same day. So it's not as if the tester will be waiting for 3 days for.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yes, so things have become very minute in the way they are done, so that things are being churned out faster. So there's unit testing, there's test-driven development, there's behavior-driven development, there's acceptance test-driven development. So many stuff out there. We'll touch on them so that at least you're familiar with it.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So,
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a question. Well, you told us that Velocity is a planning tool and it's for the development team. what if the stakeholders are breathing down the neck of the product owner? I mean, to make sure that things are done quickly, to make sure that, I mean, they may have a deadline, a deadline for an MVP, for example. Can't the team increase their velocity, or once they've agreed on a particular velocity, they cannot change it?
Okay, so let me ask you this question: how fast can you run?
Well, I'm a big man. I can't run really.
So there's a limit to how fast you can run. So if I say faster, faster, you ain't gonna go no faster. Okay.
You won't kick with that.
Exactly, exactly. And you see, talking about deadline, talking about pressure from stakeholder, that is exactly what Agile is trying to deliver for you. So if you have a team of 10 people, they can only go so fast. But guess what? Before Agile, maybe you were waiting 9 months for your product before. Before Agile, people were waiting 6 months, 9 months, 1 year before they see any deliverable, before anything is delivered to them. But now with Agile, we are now saying we don't need to wait to deliver everything, because it's not everything that adds the same value. Why don't we look at what adds the most value and begin to deliver that to you, and you can begin to get the value you need from that, okay? So it doesn't matter how, disturbing the stakeholders are. That is why we have the Scrum Master. That is why we have the product owner. And that is why, as a Scrum Master, when you see a product owner trying to, come through the back door to give a developer some work to do, you must educate them and say, no, we have a backlog. It's like somebody trying to jump the queue, right? And then you say, no, go and join the queue. Okay? We that we have been queuing up here, we are not fools. You know, that kind of thing. So go and join the queue. Go and talk to the product owner. Let the product owner know what you want. And then based on your conversation with the product owner, the stakeholder and the product owner will now prioritize that work that the product owner wants them to do. One thing you must remember as stakeholder, as product owners and Scrum Masters, is that every stakeholder will tell you, my job, I needed it yesterday. Every stakeholder will tell you their job is a priority. Everything cannot be a priority. And the one thing you need to know is that we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And you must take that mindset into your workplace as a Scrum Master or as a product owner. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. So as a business, the stakeholders need to come together to prioritize. And that is why, Mr. T, we have that initial meeting, the discovery and the design thinking. So during that phase, all the stakeholders have come together to sort of say, okay, let's do this first. Okay, take for example, the university. It wouldn't make sense for us not to agree as stakeholders of that university that the signing is the most important thing. I don't know if I'm making any sense now.
You are.
It wouldn't make sense for us to be fighting amongst each other. Imagine the librarian saying, no, it is my library epic that is more important. Won't we have a student sign up first before they can use the library? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So we have to come together and not work at cross purpose, but work together to say, okay, as LBU, what are the most important epics that we should begin to deliver so that we can begin to get students, so that we can start increasing? Because remember, if you remember from our case, we are losing students. Our admission rate is falling. And if it falls so much, people may lose their job. If the university is not making money, people are going to lose their job. So we really need to be on the same page here for this product, because we want to increase admission. So that initial meeting where all the stakeholders are present, where we are doing discovery, we are doing design, is also part of the prioritization process of saying this is important. That is why we have the roadmap. We will do this one first, this quarter, then we'll do that quarter, because these ones are the most important ones. So once we start getting people signing in or people calling, because they can now see our landing page, they can see our telephone number, and maybe they are calling, even if they cannot do a full end-to-end admission yet on the website, but they can see us online. They can call and ask more questions. Oh, I just saw your website online, and I want to register for medicine. Do you do part-time? Whatever. They can ask questions. I hope that helps. But however, while we are in sprint, things may come up. Emergencies may come up, but it has to be an emergency. You can't just come and be disturbing the sprint just for the sake of it. That's why we have the product owner, and that is why we have the Scrum Master. so that we can have a period of focus. We have committed to these stories. And by the end of 2 weeks, we are going to deliver something functional that when the stakeholders see it, even they too will be happy that, in just 2 weeks, we are already online in just 2 weeks. But imagine when they're coming and context switching. Look, it's like when if I'm working on something right now and I'm really getting into it, I'm really getting into it. And then you come and ask me a question. And then I stop doing what I'm doing. And then maybe I pay you like 15 minutes attention, talking to you, trying to help you with what you want. By the time I come back to what I'm doing, it might take me another 3 or 4 minutes before I even remember where I stopped. I hope you know that. Yeah?
Yes.
It is called context switching. It is called context switching. And that is why they say multitasking is not efficient. Monotasking is more efficient. And that is why during this period, people are taking stories, working on one story at a time, finish it, working on another story, finish it. We are trying to get our stories to done. We don't want to have too many stories open and nothing is done. So as much as possible, we want to work on our stories, get it to done, work on our stories, get it to done. Because when we multitask, we waste time because we are context switching. Context switching. So if a stakeholder then comes and say, I'm going to show you the scope management slide very shortly, and say, we have to change something. Fine. It will have to be that change is important and that change is required to be done. And if it is not done, there's a risk involved. Otherwise, let it wait till the next sprint. So for you to interrupt a sprint in any shape or form, it must be a very valid reason. Very, very valid reason. Not just because one stakeholder thinks they have power and they can just come and disrupt the sprint. Okay, so that is that. There was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, the scope. I think that's my next slide. The scope. Oops. Okay, can you still see my screen? I've got the scope slide. Okay. Now, in an agile environment, or rather in the traditional environment, we used to have what we call a fixed scope. Sylvia, you remember this, where we will have our planning and we will baseline. We baseline the plan. So which means after doing all this planning for this product that we are going to deliver 1 year down the line, we baseline it and then we say for anything to change in this plan, we have to go through a formal change control process, which can be quite tedious.
Yeah.
The scope is fixed. However, we are flexible on the schedule and the cost. For Agile, it is the other way around. Okay, for Agile, we fix cost and schedule, but we play around with the scope. We play around with the scope. And that is why we have the backlog system. We move things around. Okay, we are able to move things around. We are able to change things. And like I said, if we really need to interrupt a sprint, then we will do that. But it must be that we really have to. Otherwise, we want them to focus and deliver. For us to stop a sprint, it will mean that whatever it is they are doing right now will not add any value anymore. That will be one of the reasons you stop a sprint. What they are doing right now, maybe they've started a sprint, they are 4 days into that sprint, which means they still have 6 days to go. If what they are doing has, for whatever reason, become obsolete, you stop the sprint and you regroup. Okay?
All right.
Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Is it clear? So with Agile, you play around with your scope.
Hello, Mary?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Donald, I can hear you.
Yeah. Mary, so far so good. I think you've done your best to explain obviously when you look at it in human interaction.
I've lost you again, Donald. Donald. Oh dear. I think he needs. Let me move away from here. I want to go to our tool. Okay, so I'm going to share the tool again. Can you actually see the tool now? I'm in the tool right now.
Yes.
You can see the tool. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's look at what is going on here. So we are in the LBU project. And if we look at the board, we can see that Mr. T's story is complete. My story is complete. It is still a current sprint because this sprint has not yet ended. It will end on the 14th. We have our stories moving on towards done, okay, as much as possible. So by Thursday, there'll be more stories in the complete column. So if I go to the dashboard, let's look at the burn down chart. This is the burn down chart, as you can see. So now it's showing that if I click here, we have 31 story points actual remaining. We have 31 story points remaining. Although it says the ideal remaining is 24. Okay. So what it is saying here is that ideally we should have done 24 story points. Okay. But so far we have done 31. No, sorry. We should have 24 story points outstanding, but we still have 31 story points outstanding. That's the information we are getting here. Okay. So over time, we will now see a trend. So as a development team, you are looking at your, let me go back to the Scrum board. Now, because this is a training environment, okay, I don't expect you to come here and be moving stuff every minute. I just want us to simulate the process. But in an actual development environment, you spend 8 hours a day working. Definitely, you will have a kind of trend of how much you are able to do on a daily basis. Okay. And this is what the burn down chart is trying to capture. It's just capturing what is happening. It is capturing what is happening. So if I go back to the dashboard, as a Scrum Master, if I look at the difference between the ideal and the actual, that can trigger a conversation. Now let me scroll back there. Oh, what's wrong with this thing? Let me go back to the burn down. Okay. So now as a Scrum Master, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing, okay, ideally we should have about 24 points outstanding, but we still have 31 points outstanding. As a Scrum Master, this is not information for me to now go to the development team and say, hey guys, what's wrong with you people? How come you still have this much to do? Blah, 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 blah. No, it's not about command and control. Rather, it's about saying, is there any problem? Do you need any help? Do we have any impediments? I hope I'm making sense. It is supposed to provoke a conversation, not to throw anybody under the bus. That is what these visuals are about. And there's one called the burn up. If I scroll down, I believe there's the burn up. But the burn up, unfortunately, I don't like it because it's talking about hours and I'm not using hours. So it's looking at hours here. But usually you would have a burn up chart that is configured to use the story points as well, in which case it will tell us how much and how many story points we have done as opposed to how many outstanding. That is usually how that works. But this is talking about hours. I'll see if I can, because I tried to configure it in story points, but it was just coming straight in hours. I didn't have the chance to do that, but I'll have a look at it.
Can I come in here 1 minute,
yes,
please?
Yes.
Look at the burn down chart.
Yes.
So what we're seeing now, you said it provokes conversation, right?
Yes.
Right. And it's not a controlling environment. So
yes.
How would the Scrum Master, for example, start this conversation with the Scrum team? Is that going to be a stand-up meeting?
It could be at the stand-up meeting. You just bring it up very quickly and say, guys, I looked at the I saw this burn down chart today, and I'm just looking at the discrepancy, and I'm just thinking, do you need any help? Are there any problems? Is there any impediments that's, what is stopping you? I'm just asking from a caring point of view to say, do they need any help? It could be that somebody is struggling with something. It could be that somebody just needs help with something, could be anything. So the question is, let us find out what it is. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Let us find out what it is. Because you see, when you are working with the same development team over time, you begin to see a trend. So if something goes off, you know, like all these people monitoring earthquake and all that, there's a consistent level they are looking at. The moment something spikes, they begin to worry and find out what is happening. It's the same with these graphs. To say, okay, ideally this thing should be going at this consistent pace because that is what we are used to. And then the moment you now see that something is drastically different, it should provoke a conversation. That's what it should do, provoke a conversation. So you can bring it up at the Scrum Master during the daily stand-up, but of course, you know the daily stand-up is 15 minutes. So maybe if there's a problem, after the 15 minutes daily stand-up, you then sit down as a team and then talk about it to say, okay, why is the graph looking like this? You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what it is. Yeah.
I'm assuming that the trend we are seeing here is what probably the Scrum Master has already set at the beginning, or
no. The Scrum Master hasn't set anything. Let me go to the Scrum board. So I'm going to the Scrum board now. Now, when we started this sprint, everybody had one story each. That is not to say in the real world, every developer has one story. Remember, this is a training environment. So when we start our sprint, the stories are just there. We have committed to the story, and different people are just picking different things to do. If we have work to do, we come to work 9 o'clock in the morning, we get on with what we want to do. You go to the sprint backlog and you pick something you want to do and start doing it as a developer. As a user experience person, you pick what you want to do. Maybe you are trying to design some screen. You continue with your work. And when you come in, take for example, let me go down. So let us say today is a Monday or Tuesday. I've come in now and let me see whose story is this. Okay, this story belongs to Felicia. Let me quickly put her name on it so I can move it. Okay, let me even say I have this one here. Let me put it back. Okay, so I come in. I started this work yesterday. It was already in progress. Yesterday, Monday. Today is Tuesday. I've come in. I'm working on this story. So maybe I'm able to finish this story today, in which case I can move this story to done. You just continue doing what you are doing. That's all. You just do your normal work. Nothing to do with the Scrum Master in terms of setting a trend for you. You just come in and do your work. That is all. Everybody comes in and does their work. And as you are moving things around, the dashboard is dynamically generated. Nobody is setting the dashboard, if that is what you are saying, Shola. Nobody is setting this dashboard. When we started, this blue line was not here. But as we are moving and moving towards completion, the graph is generating more lines. It's generating more lines. It's generating more lines. When we started, the only line we had was the gray one. Because the gray one is saying this is our expectation. It's like saying, it's like a tailor telling you, come in 2 weeks to collect your cloth, to collect your material, your whatever it is the tailor is making for you. Come in 2 weeks' time. So this graph has already given us the expectation, which is this gray line, the ideal. It has given us the ideal that we have committed to about 40 story points and that we will finish it by the 14th of August. That is the idea.
I think that's where my question is. So it's more or less related to the velocity we've set to say, okay, we'll be doing so stories probably for this
in
sprint.
2 weeks. Yes, yeah. Now we committed to 40 story points.
All right, okay.
And our sprint is 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and it's on the left here. So if you look at the graph, the left side here is the point, isn't it, Mary?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Look at it.
And then the bottom is the date.
Yes. Can you see estimation points?
So that's how the graph plots.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see the estimation points here?
Yeah.
And these are the story points. So we committed to about 40. So which means if we add all our story points, I guess it will be about 40. That is what this is telling us here. And we are slowly working on it, and it is dropping. And these are the weeks. These are the dates. Sorry, as you can see, today's date is 9. You see that? Today's date is 9. And so far, this is where we are. This is where. So the graph is being generated as we move our task on this Scrum board. As we are moving our task on this Scrum board, the burn down chart is being generated. So as a Scrum Master.
Good evening, Mary.
Hey, good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, sorry I was late. I
No
had
problem.
something else to do. Yeah.
No problem.
I just want to ask.
Yeah.
You know, last time that we were on this graph, there was no information on it. It hadn't actually done it. What happened?
It had done it. It was there.
Oh, because when you put
It
in
was
your...
the velocity that was not there. This
Okay,
graph
you
was
mean
there
this
the last
rundown
time.
chart was...
This rundown chart was
done.
there, but it hadn't come down. It
That's what I'm
hadn't
saying.
bent.
It hadn't, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't it bend that time?
I don't know.
That was when you put the work in.
I put the
remember
work,
you put...
yes, but ideally it's supposed to be generated dynamically.
Yeah.
Yes, you are right. But these blue lines was coming on like this. It was coming on.
I know, I saw it,
exactly,
but it didn't.
Exactly.
It didn't catch up with you. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you just leave it to generate it by itself. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to do anything. Okay. So. Okay, so that is it. So we are just going to keep moving our stories until we complete our story on Friday. And then we'll now do our sprint review. We will do our sprint retrospective. So like I said before, me and Mr. T, we will do the sprint review so that I will show how it is done, and then you can do it yourselves the next time. Now, if you click here, you will see that I've created a project for everybody. Can you see that? I have created a project for everybody. So you can go into your own project. For example, Grace, this is your space. You see, you can come here, create a project, create a sprint, create backlog items, create epics, just play around with it.
Yeah. Create a dashboard.
Create a dashboard. You know, you will not break anything because you are in your own safe space.
Okay.
You are in your own safe space. Just make sure that when you get in, you are always in your own project. That is all. And you can do whatever you like. I've created a project for everybody. It's like riding a bicycle. You really have to get on that bicycle to learn how to ride it. And that is how all these software tools also work. Okay, so let me get out of this tool. There isn't much to do with this tool right now until we come back again next weekend. Now, if I quickly go to our backlog, our product backlog, just before I leave this place, let me just remind you what you need to do so that when we come, we are not wasting time. So if I go to the, I'm still in Grace's project. I have to go to LBU project. So I'm now in the LBU project. Our next epic will be epic 20, which is about us, according to the product owner, Grace. That is what she wants us to do. So please, I need everybody to make sure that in their story, take for example, this story, this is my story, Mary Lanion. Let me click on it. Let me go inside. Get your task ready, but just duplicate it. You don't have to stress yourself. So this is my story now. All I can just do here, I can come to task, because when you click on task, a task is already generated for you automatically. I can add a task by going add task. I can call this Mary task. Mary task, resource, Mary Lanion save. I can do that, okay? And I can just add another one again, okay? And say Mary task 2. I can do that again, save again.
I'm not seeing your screen. I'm not sure what's, I'm still on the dashboard screen.
Let me stop and share again.
Aha, please. Thank you.
Can you see it now?
It's loading.
Can everybody else see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I can either add a task manually or I can cancel that and then just duplicate. So since we're in a training environment, just duplicate the task. Don't stress yourself, just duplicate it. But make sure it is assigned to you. So I'm creating my task now. I'm going to create like 6 tasks. I duplicate it, but make sure it is assigned to you. So do one, make sure it is assigned to you, and then just duplicate it. Okay, like this one now doesn't have my name, so I have to click on it to assign it to myself. Otherwise, if it gets to the dashboard, if it is not assigned to me, you can't move it. You may have experienced that already. If a task is not assigned to you, you cannot move it. So right now I have all these tasks assigned to me except this one and the other one. So I'll just assign it to myself, make sure it is ready. Save. So please make sure all your tasks are assigned to you. So create one and just duplicate it. Create one, assign it to yourself and just duplicate it. Make life easy for yourself. Okay, so now if you look at this dialog box, you'll see that it says here category, complexity, description, priority. A story or a task might be high priority, in which case it's critical. You might have to click that so that it is showing on the Scrum board as critical. A story might be low priority, in which case maybe you really don't bother with it. So maybe as a convention, stories that are really critical priorities are the only ones you tag as critical priorities so that it is visible on the Scrum board. So I'm going to tag this one as critical and just save, okay? And you will see the H will show on it. So this story is showing as really critical, okay? And my names are, tagged to them. So I'm just going to save and close and leave here. So please go into your stories, make sure you have created all your tasks. Hold on, save now, save and close. Yeah, that's better. So make sure you have created all your tasks for your stories and make sure your stories are estimated. That's all you need to do. So that when we come back next Saturday, we've already done most of these things and we can now start concentrating on other stuff. Because I don't want us to come here and be doing what we can do on our own while we are here. We should spend our time really learning what will add value to us, not just, completing a form. So that is that. Please let us all make sure that that is done. And then don't forget that here, these 3 lines here, that if you click on the discussion board, I've used it like our wiki. So if you click on this Phoenix, you will see all the 3 links that can actually take you from here to the artifacts, the epic list, and things like that. And I could see that Grace had completed the epic list. So but what I do is, so that I don't leave this page, what I normally do is I just copy this, or maybe right click and say, let me see, right click and open in another tab, open a new tab, that's better. So that way I'm still in this tab. So going to that epic list, I think I see Grace has already created the she has already created the roadmap. Let's see. There you go. That's what Grace has done. I hope you can see my screen. Let me stop sharing and share my actual screen. Share screen. Because I'm in the Google Docs now. Can you see the Google Docs?
Yes.
Okay. So Grace has completed the roadmap. So this is what she did. So for Q1, we're going to do sign in, about us, international students, programs, financial aid, and student support. That is what the stakeholders want. So that is what we're going to do for them for this Q1. Okay. So we are already working on the sign in. In our next sprint, we are going to work on about us. So this is what I want us to do now. I believe we all have access to, let me open the persona. Let me go to my, okay, I'm going to put us in 2 groups. I'm going to put us in 2 groups. This is an example. You might want to take a picture of it. This is an example of a persona of a primary persona of a basketball community, something like that, online community. We have a middle-aged man, a more matured man as a persona, and we have a younger millennial as a persona. So you might want to take a picture of it, but I've created the subheading anyway. Do you want me to wait for you to take a picture of it?
Can you go to the screen too? Okay, thanks. Yeah.
A picture of this and then a picture of the other one. So I'll switch in a minute. And then we're going to go into 2 groups, and then I'm going to bring up the Google Docs. So a picture of that and a picture of this, just to help you with the exercise. Okay. Okay, so let me get out of here. Let me go into Google Docs. So I don't want this one actually. So let me go and open the artifacts. Yes. Oops. Let me. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, I believe everybody. Let me copy the link so that everybody click. I'm going to paste the link of this Google Docs now in the chat. I'm placing it in the chat to everyone. I've just placed it in the chat. So everyone should have access to this. So if you have a look at this. What you will find is that I have created 2 tables. One is group 1 and one is group 2. So I'm going to create 2 rooms. If you are in room 1, then you are going to use template 1, which is the group 1. If you are in room 2, you are going to use group 2 template. To create the persona for 1, a student that has just finished their A-levels, okay? That's one persona. The second persona is a mature student, so it could be a married man or a married woman, whatever the case may be, or a single person, but just quite matured. So decide on which one you want to go for as a group. So what I want to do now is go back to my screen and put you in groups. Where's the breakout room? Breakout room, okay, there you go. So I'm going to create 2 rooms, create rooms. I'm going to go for manually, create rooms, yes, add a room. Yes, okay, good. So I've got 2 rooms and I'm going to assign Alicia, Henry, Tunde. That's how many? That's 4. Sylvia. Okay, so this one. Okay. Okay, I have assigned you to rooms. I'm going to open the room now. Open all rooms. I've done that. Okay. Let me join them here. Okay, are we all here? Okay, you're here now. I was wondering, I thought I didn't do it right. I got here first. Okay, so breakout room 1, you need to access the template. Are we all good?
What room am I? Is it room 2?
No, you are in breakout room 1.
Okay.
This is breakout room 1. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So I pasted, let me paste it again. I'm sure you can see it, but let me paste it again. The link for the Google Docs. Okay. So go to the Google Docs and work together on that document. I don't know if you can, if that is possible for you. Can you see the document?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to the other room. Hello.
Yes, hello,
Mary.
What I'm not sure about is whether you can see the Google Docs. Can you see the Google Docs?
Because no, not from here. Because we're now in a different place.
Hold on, let me
Unless
paste
you
it.
post it
No,
here. Yeah.
go to the chat. I'm posting it now. Oh yeah, click on it. Go to the chat and
Okay.
click on it. See if you can do that.
Right. Thank you.
Ah, today is so hot.
Ah, it's insane.
Are you able to click on it?
Yes.
Okay, so now can you see the Google Docs?
They gave me to the wrong one.
You can see that I have pre-populated the table with some subheadings. Who is unassigned? One participant unassigned. Who is that? Do you all have access to the document?
Yes, I do.
Loading.
It's just that, yeah, it's just that it's.
Okay, so just fire away and using the example that you have there of the basketball, just try and complete that document. I hope my instructions are clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's come up with this request access again. It's ridiculous. I can never get anything done. Yeah, you see, the problem is I've got 2 emails for Google Docs.
Okay.
So
you have to be sure you are using the right one, right?
Exactly. So the one that I need to use is the other email, but on my phone, this other one is always popping up. Okay. So it's got me now. I've signed in, but it says ask for permission again. I'll just see if anybody can share their screen, and then we can do it like that. Hopefully.
I don't know if you can share yours. Okay, is everybody in the Google document aside from you?
Perhaps, I don't know.
Yes, I am.
Who is in the Google document? Dele, you are in the Google document. Okay, so you can see the Google document, Dele?
I can, yes.
Okay, who else can see the Google document?
I can't.
Shola,
I can't.
Dodi, you can't see it.
I can see it.
Okay, Shola can see it. Donald, can you see the Google document?
I can't see it either, Mary.
Oh, really? So it's just Dele and Shola that can see it. Dodi, you
But the link, Donald, the link is in the.
It's sent to me. I couldn't sign me in, so I'm trying to see what.
Because everybody
is the same with me. I can't sign in. I do have it. But because of my
sign me in now?
Okay, let me share. Let me give you access again. Let me come out and go and give you access again. Let me try and give you access again. Because you are there.
I know.
Grace, it is bcshaba@gmail.com that is there. bcshaba.
Oh, should I use that? Okay.
Yes, it's
I just changed it. I changed
it
to
is bcshaba there. And then Undudi, it is undudiabili@gmail.com. And you have access. I had done it.
But okay, let me go back and see if it will let me.
The other group are already writing on their own, so they don't have problems. Dele, since you have access,
Telling me couldn't sign me in.
Dele, if you are in group 2, you should write in group 2. Which group are you in, Dele?
You said I should write in group 2.
Which group are you in? What's your group, Dele?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what group.
Oh dear.
Let me go and check it.
I've seen it. I have it now.
Okay, that's good.
Now.
Okay, that's good. Because I was wondering if
because I see somebody's already typing.
Mary, I'm still not in there.
How we see the list though?
Okay, let's take it one at a time. Let me leave.
Dele is in this group.
Yes, I'm here.
Dele, you are in
group 2.
Dele, you are in group 2. Dele, you are in group 2. So you should work on group 2 table.
Group 2 table, yeah.
Okay.
Grace, are you the one currently typing in it? Because I see somebody's already typing.
No, I'm not typing anything. No,
it's me,
I've just managed to enter.
Oh, you started typing. Okay. Shola started typing.
Yes, Shola started
typing. The wrong screen.
Just know that you are using group 2 table because you are in breakout room 2. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Mary, question, Mary.
What group am I? I'm not still in
there.
You
are in group 2. You are in group 2, Don. You are in this group. You are in group 2.
Quick question, Mary. We're only working on one document, correct?
You're only working on one, which is group 2.
Oh, wait.
There are 2 tables.
So there's only one person that can type.
So talk amongst each other and one person should type.
Okay. I just want to be sure. So Shola, you're the one typing. Okay.
So Shola can type.
Are we all supposed to see the same screen?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Can you see it? Put it on it.
Okay.
Group 2.
What? Wow.
You can nominate one person to type while you all contribute. But it's just.
Can we all see the name now? The name I put on it.
Okay, I can see.
No, I can't see anything. No. I cannot see anything.
Me neither. I can only see the participants.
You have
in my
to refresh.
room.
You have to refresh.
Refresh your screen. Shola, did you just type Ade John Kofi?
Exactly, yeah. So we should be seeing that.
Okay. Now, demographic.
Dodi, you have to go into the actual Google Docs. This is Zoom. We are all in Zoom right now. You have to come out and go into. Don't come out as in leave the meeting, but another screen.
Yeah.
Click on the.
Okay, I can see Ade John Kofi.
Good.
Let me refresh and see.
Okay, demographic.
What?
African.
40-year-old. 40-year-old.
Will do for her profile.
Yeah. But it's not showing her that she's just finished. Are these all? Does this mean that it's these are A-level courses, A-level subjects?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah, A-level subjects. Yes.
So she's done A-level up there.
Okay. She's
So
done
these
A-level
are
up
the
there,
subjects that she, 19 years. I'll probably do it this way. 19 years from London. Studied chemistry, biology, and maths. Yeah.
So Sylvia, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so your persona is a young person that has just finished their A-levels that wants to gain entry into LBU.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. So what is her goal? Her goal is to get into medical school. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah. Agree. Yes.
At LBU. Or let's say medical school. And then pain points. Mary, what's pain points?
Pain points could be things like challenges.
Right.
What could be their pain points? Look at the sample of the picture you took. Pain points. What was I even thinking?
Okay, so pain point could be that they're looking for A and she probably got A, B.
Could be.
Could that be frustrations? Because what we have here,
Yeah, frustrations, yes.
Yeah, that's what we have from one of the pictures we took.
The pictures you took, I'm trying.
Yeah, what could be their frustrations, pain points? Yeah, that's correct.
So frustration, the word frustration itself could be written down.
Yeah, you can change it to frustration. Yeah, you can change pain points.
We're going to change pain points.
Oh, you mean point to frustration? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense because.
Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe one
example of that is what?
Probably didn't make an A in maths or something.
Didn't get the required grades. Yeah.
That's the one.
Another frustration for somebody who is young could be leaving home for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, going to boarding, leaving home for the first time. Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
So you want to make their life as bearable.
And then a bit disorganized. They're usually very disorganized, aren't they? To be disorganized.
What
are you
goals?
doing? Okay.
What are the goals?
Okay, he wants to get a degree in engineering.
Daddy, are you there?
Currently, so he lives in Princeton, but is Princeton an expensive area?
I'm totally in the dark here. I don't see nothing. But his goals would be at the.
Did you go to Google Docs?
I've actually lost my Google Docs because I don't remember what I did. Then it went back into hibernation. I'm sure I can find it.
Just click the link again.
It goes as a
link again.
Oh, I found it. Yeah,
okay.
I found it. This was on Safari. Yeah, I found it.
Ndidi, let me tell you what to do. Ndidi, can you see me? Are you?
Yeah.
The thing is, you are still in Zoom. What you should do is look at your status
Safari
and go to your browser and put that link that I posted. You need to come out of Zoom and go to your browser, and then yes, you need to leave Zoom in order for, but you will still be able to speak.
Okay. So we've written goals, hoping to bag a degree in engineering at LBU. Distance learning. Is that distance learning, or does he want to come all the way to the UK for that degree?
Why can't I hear?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, we can hear you, Grace.
Oh,
Dottie, we can hear you too. Dottie.
We lost her.
I think there's something with her connection.
Maybe it's connection problem.
All right. So
okay, pain. Oh, okay.
Pain
I see
points.
what you mean, Grace.
Yeah.
That's coming all the way to US.
With study. 2 children. So Is there distance learning? Can he do distance learning? So
engineering, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't think
no,
so.
he can, because he can have labs in America where he can go and do his practicals. You know, this world is now very small. They may have another university affiliated with another university in the US.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So
his pain points.
Well, his pain points.
Inability to do engineering while he's young or something.
No, he might not have enough money
because
so only his wife is now going to be, and so he needs to work. He needs to be in work as well as do this degree. You know, it's been very hard for him to join any university in the US because
anybody. Jeez, no voice.
Daddy, we can hear you.
Okay, let somebody else carry on.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't hear a thing.
Can you hear us now?
Actually, oh my God, I can, yes, but I still can't see your shared screen. Though.
Did you leave Zoom?
No. I'm not sharing any screen. You are the one that needs to go to another browser.
No, I didn't. Yeah. The thing just went off. It's probably my network. I don't know.
Okay.
It didn't go off.
Yes, I just did. I went from.
Did you go to your browser? If you go to your browser, it will be there. That's what I did.
Open another browser. Open another browser and paste that link that I posted, and you will be able to see that document.
Yes, directly.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing this to me. Yes, that's what I did.
Okay, so limited financial resources, pain points, motivation, promotion, status.
Okay. Okay, let me share from you.
Maybe I don't know what email addresses you've sent
I didn't send anything to an email address. I sent it in the chat box in this Zoom.
Yeah.
The chat box in this Zoom account.
Yes.
Click on more.
Click on any of the link that is in the chat box.
Click on more, and then you find it. It's just sitting there.
Donald, are you okay now? Anyway, we'll show you what we've done, Donald, if you can't see it. Once they are done, they'll show you. So just stay with us.
So what's the motivation? Okay, fulfill. Only
promotion.
Motivation.
Status. He wants to buy a new house, if you know.
Daddy, can you see it now?
Move. They want to move to a nice area.
No.
Daddy, can you see us now?
I can't see you, but I'm looking at the snapshots that I took. That's all.
Okay, so give us, what can we put for motivation?
It motivation, childhood dream and earn more. Somebody has written it already. Fulfill childhood dream and earn more. Somebody's already typed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I said we can have more than one or two.
Yeah, she's got two. Fulfill childhood dream, earn more. But you can add more because it will make it just interesting. That's all.
Daddy, do you have anything to add?
Technology.
He has a computer.
That's for the adult male, yes?
Yes. He's American now. Does he not have everything?
To build a generation of basketball players.
Oh, no. We are talking about students for University of London Bridge. That was just an example. That was just an example.
See, I lost you guys now.
That was just an example to guide you guys to say a matured student coming to London Bridge University. What kind of persona exactly?
Technology.
He has two computers to himself because he sometimes lends one out to his son. So he's 23-year-old.
Technology could also mean for a matured person, where will you find them? Will you find them on Facebook? Will you find them on social, that could also be that.
That's
for
true.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
For a millennial, where will you find a millennial? You find them on TikTok. You will find them on Instagram. Those kind of things,
Yes.
Okay.
That's true. Thank you.
LinkedIn, Twitter.
Twitter, exactly.
Yes, it'll be on Twitter. Facebook is popular for that age group. Yes. and LinkedIn, Instagram sometimes.
Yeah. Some of us are on Instagram, so we can monitor our children.
Yeah. So they could give, it's an incentive, but it's not free.
Okay,
But at
this is
that
in
point,
America.
you
You're
don't
in
know.
America, yeah?
Yeah. You don't know that there's something they are paying back, but you think it's a free laptop.
Oh, okay. You're talking in the
Sorry,
States.
Sylvia. Can everybody see the Google document in this group?
Yes.
Deji, can you see the Google document?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. I hope everybody is contributing here. Oh, please, everybody should contribute. Okay, fine. I just wanted to be sure
It's
you
saving
guys are right.
automatically, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Sylvia. It is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we try and wrap up in about 5 minutes maximum?
Yeah, I think we're almost done actually.
Okay, good. Okay, well, if you are done, then just come in about 2 minutes.
Are we okay with technology? We want to add something.
In the UK, I don't.
Do you live
then you
in?
look for group 2.
Do you live in Nigeria?
I haven't quite gotten there. It's loading though. It's taking forever. Oh, this is such.
Do you live in Nigeria?
Okay.
Yes,
she does.
Ah.
Oh yes,
no
I do.
wonder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a dead giveaway, isn't it?
I'm not doing your demographics, so. I know it's a real giveaway. It's a real giveaway. Ah, goodness.
Okay, for technology, can we also add about the computers?
Yeah, he has a computer. He has access to computers. That should not be a problem. He lives in America. He's an insurance executive, so his wife is a banker.
And it's free internet.
Yes. Is it free internet?
Of course
or do you have to get broadband?
Oh, Wi-Fi.
He can afford all those things because I'm sure he has that already.
Okay, can we start wrapping up?
We're done.
Is that not
okay? I'm going to pull everybody. I'm going to close the rooms now.
Okay.
You should have put this person in Nigeria, honestly. Okay. Wrapping up. Okay. No. I'm sitting
Thank you,
here.
Mr. Shola, for doing this.
Oh, man.
Hello. We're back here. Unfortunately, Donald was having problems, I think. Is everybody back here? Where's Dodie?
Donald and Dodie are not back yet.
Yeah, they're not. Exactly. Maybe I know.
It's that Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think we actually lost Donald before I even closed the breakout room. Anyway, let me share my screen with the documents you updated. Okay, so here we are. So that was a persona, primary personas of the people, the likely people, the people that are likely to come and use this university, the people that are likely to look at this website that we are building. I hope we get it. That is the whole idea. So you see, when we start thinking about personas, as a Scrum Master, it's good to understand what it is, what a persona is, and imagine the Scrum team, the development team, are brainstorming during the design thinking, because this kind of exercise can happen at any time during the sprint. It could be happening during the design phase, okay, where they are looking at the personas so that they can understand what to build. It could also be happening again at the story level, where they are really trying to understand the personas. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So as a Scrum Master, you know what is going on. So when you see them talking about, demographic, bio, frustrations, motivation, technology, you are able to contribute because you know what personas are all about, and you can help them actually achieve a whole lot by contributing to the whole process. So I just wanted us to have some interactions, have, a practical angle to this, and just do something. So we are building our artifacts, and these are the things you will see in a real life environment. If you go to a bank, They are trying to develop a banking product. They are looking at personas. They are developing a banking product. They are looking at a use case. It could be a use case diagram. It could be a use case description. They are looking at all the different data flow diagrams. Okay, for this product, if the customer does this, what next do they have to do? What else will be required for them to do? What decisions do we have to take on their behalf? If we don't do all these things, we won't understand how to build the system. And by looking at the interaction of the user with the system, then you are able to generate your epics, you are able to generate your user stories. This is where we are going to end today. Okay, Doddy is back, but Donald isn't back. Okay, this is where we're going to end today. Any questions at all? Thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking time to do that. I hope we enjoyed it. I hope it made sense to us.
Anyway, I'll play it back and see. I'm sure
Yeah,
it's pretty
and yes, because you didn't have you were having problems trying to see the document. Yeah. Because for me, what I do is at the bottom of my screen, I just click on another browser. That's what I do, because you cannot be in Zoom. I'm not sharing it. It's not as if I was sharing it. Do you see what I mean? But I could have shared
usually
it
if I click on if I click on a link on the chat box, it takes me to a browser. It's automatic. Once I click on it, but it was taking forever to load. I had to take it back to Chrome because it wasn't Chrome. And that finally popped up.
Okay.
Mary, sorry, Mary, can you do a quick summary of product roadmap you give me?
Okay. A product roadmap is to okay, let me put it this way. Let us assume you are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan, and you are planning that journey. You are planning your roadmap. So you are planning, you're saying, okay, by 9 o'clock, I have to pick Shegun at Ikeja. Once I finish picking Shegun, I have to then pick Shade at my whatever, things like that. And then we have to stop at Shagamu. When we stop at Shagamu, we need to buy some stuff. And then you are planning that trip. So with product roadmap also, we are trying to identify the things we need to do and the order in which we need to do them. Are you with me?
Yes, please.
Just like I just said, now you have to pick somebody first. So if you have to pick 10 people, you will want to plan it to be efficient, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to pick somebody in Ilukweju, you will pick that person in Ilukweju first before you go and pick somebody in K2.
True.
You won't go to K2 and then come back to pick somebody in Lukweju when you are going to Ibadan. You understand? So the product roadmap is such that you are also looking at all the various parts, all the various things you need to develop for this product. And you are also now saying, in what order should this be done? What is the best way order for us to develop this? If you remember, I showed you what Grace did. Grace has developed a 1 year roadmap. That's what she has done. Let me go back there. Grace has developed a 1 year roadmap. If I go to, this is the artifact. Let me go to, hold on. If I go to, I closed it. So let me open another. I'm going there from here. Okay, so if I go here, discussion board. Let me show it to you. That's what a roadmap looks like. Epic list, that's it. So let me share my screen. Share screen, epic list. There you go. So let me scroll down. Can you see that now, Mr. T?
Yes, please.
That's the product roadmap right there. So what Grace has done is all the epics we identified during our brainstorming session, she has now sat down as the product owner, having engaged with the stakeholders to prioritize this roadmap, to say, for Q1, these are the important things for us to deliver. For Q2, these are the important things for, remember, these are all epics. These are high-level epics. So.
Yeah.
So based on this roadmap, we can now have what we call a release plan. Can you see now there's another table at the bottom? We'll worry about this one next week when we meet next week. We can now have a release map because our release must tie into this roadmap. So as you can see, what we are releasing is something to do with the landing page, which are stories that come under what? Signing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are working on signing. Some of the things we are going to release, our release 1 must be something to do with something in this Q1, which is this first epic that
Q here we mean quarter. That's what we're releasing for 1
Q1,
quarter.
quarter, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, something like that. So our first release, based on what the product owner wants, and you and I will be working on it, Mr. T, if you remember. I said you and I will work on it so that we can demo to the rest of the group what a sprint review looks like. So that we can set the expectation for the purpose of our training. So the next 2 people that will do the sprint planning must also follow that standard. So our release 1.0 will mean that we have a landing page. And on that landing page, we have a picture of the university. We have a logo. Anybody that visits is able to create an account. And there's a telephone number there. And we're going to release this on the 14th. But again, remember, I keep saying that release is a business decision. So what we have decided, what the product owner have decided and with the stakeholders is that as soon as our MVP is ready, we are going to release it. That is a business decision that has been taken for this product. As soon as our MVP is ready, we will release it because we want students to, even though the full website is not ready, whatever information we can put out there, let them start contacting us, even if it is by telephone. Let them start contacting us. Let them start seeing that we exist. Because right now, we are not online. We are not online at all right now. So even if it is just a landing page we have online, let us be out there. Let people know that LBU University exists. Let them start calling us and making telephone inquiries like they've been doing before anyway, but through print media. Okay? Okay, this is where we're going to stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So any questions? Any questions at all? Are we moving one step forward?
Yeah, definitely.
Are we moving forward?
Yes.
Anybody feeling stuck? Anybody needing clarity on anything at all? You people should always know that, just know you can ask me any question anytime. I like Mr. Tunde, he knows how to disturb me properly. Mr. Tunde really knows how to call me. So I need you people.
I don't know if you have any Yoruba people on this. There's something you call a koagba. Learning when you are middle age, it's not easy.
So Mr. Tunde is always calling me and I'm always answering him. So please, I'm not bothering that talk.
Mary, please, I have one quick question because I missed the bit where you explained the movement, what we can do with our own epics, the epics named after us.
Let me go back.
Yeah,
let me go back.
Thank you.
Okay. Okie dokie. Let me go to the... Feel free to call me anytime because nothing will give me more pleasure to see people getting jobs, well-paid jobs. So Ndudi, can you see your name? Let me share my screen. Let me